What up, everybody? And RIP to Walter Flynn, Polly, and Brendan Doyle. I can say this: Walter and Polly went out in a blaze of smoke. I respect it. Polly basically went out and sacrificed his life, taking out several hitters in the process. Then Walter Flynn came out to finish the job like a master chess player, using all the other pieces on the board until it was time he was safe to move in for the checkmate. But Vic held the final piece and took out his own father. I'm wondering if Walter didn't start running his mouth and insulting Vic, if Vic would have let him live. Being too arrogant and running his mouth too much might have been Walter's biggest weakness and ultimately the cause of his death. Keep in mind how he was insulting Claudia the same type of way just a few episodes ago. Either way though, I am sure Walter is happy that he was able to go out in a blaze of glory, making news headlines, rather than slowly dying from whatever disease he was suffering from. As for the death of Brendan Doyle, it reminded me a lot of Tony Teresi killing his best friend, Sammy, in OG Power, right as Sammy was about to tell Tommy that Tony was a snitch. Claudia did the same thing, but she wasn't able to fool Vic like Tony did Tommy. Now Vic has decided to turn snitch, talking about he promised Gloria he would get out the game. But one thing I know about Gloria, she wouldn't have wanted Vic to turn snitch, especially on Tommy, someone she had feelings for. Now the two enemies, Tommy and Claudia, have a common enemy, Claudia's brother, Vic Snitch. And Vic will most likely tell Tommy that Claudia killed Liliana, trying to get Tommy to make a move on Claudia. But it is very unusual that there are 3 bodies dropped on one episode, with 2 of the characters being main characters and one of the other characters being a recurring character. Throughout the history of Power, any time that one character is killed off, a new character is introduced shortly after that. It's like in sports, how a team will clear up salary cap space in order to bring in the free agent or make the trade to make the team better. So be on the lookout for a new character or 2 to be introduced to the Force storyline. And there's also a chance that they might have been introduced on this episode. First, CBI decided to make a coalition with another gang leader from Chicago that Diamond was locked up with, named King Kilo. King Kilo is played by retired NBA basketball player Glenn Big Baby Davis. As a basketball fan, I recognized him immediately, and I wonder if he will have a bigger role on the show now, like Iman Shumpert got the role on The Chi, or was this just a one-time appearance? However it goes, King Kilo got what he wanted out the deal, which was half of the distribution that is going through the prison. Tommy initially denied this deal, but decided to agree under the condition that they supply the drugs. Now, I thought they were already the ones doing this, so I am not exactly sure what he meant by this, and I definitely think that Tommy is working an angle. Tommy agreed to do this after he was forced to send D-Mac out of town by Diamond, which I already knew was the best move, but especially after D-Mac refused to stay in the house and went out twice after Tommy told him not to. So with that said, now that D-Mac is on the ranch in the middle of nowhere in Kentucky or Iowa, wherever he is, there is also a chance that we're not going to see D-Mac for a few episodes either. And like I mentioned earlier, we already might have been introduced to a couple of the new characters we're going to be seeing on this episode. First being King Kilo, the second being a mid-level drug dealer named Manny. Janard walked right up to Manny's truck and robbed her of 2 bricks and the gold chain her dad gave her. And he pistol whipped her. I'm not sure who Manny is with, if she gets her weight from CBI or what, but one of Janard's soldiers knew he was wearing Manny's chain. So with that said, I'm definitely expecting Manny to look to get revenge on Janard. Then Janard goes and gives the chain away for a hit of H. Right now, Janard is down so bad, I don't care to go into all of his story, so I hope he gets better soon. He was over there telling people he was sick, clothes looking bad, looking like a junkie for real. Shanti can read Janard like a book. Plus there's the fact she's also heard rumors, just like everyone else, that Janard is on drugs. So it seems like at this point the only person who doesn't know that Janard is on drugs is Diamond. And we got a little more into Diamond and Janard's backstory. This episode, we got to meet their father as he was on his deathbed, and his final words to Diamond was telling him to look out for Janard. Because of this, Diamond decided to reunite with Janard and tell him he's welcome back to CBI. Diamond made this call without even talking to Tommy about it, and he would use the fact that Tommy killed Chewie to force him to allow Janard back in CBI. And as I mentioned how down bad Janard is off the drugs, Kate Egan decided to go back down that cycle herself. Let me know in the comments how you feel about Tommy and JP allowing Kate to think that D-Mac was dead, which caused her to turn back to the drugs. Kate was definitely out of line trying to get D-Mac to disobey Tommy by sending him to the store to buy her cigarettes, especially after she saw how serious Tommy was about him staying in the house. What if Tommy had enemies out to get him or something? She could have actually gotten D-Mac killed under different circumstances. And finally, wrapping up with Miguel and Maria. Maria broke up with her doctor boyfriend to pursue a relationship with Tommy, but not before Miguel saw him follow her out and grab her on the arm. As a result, Miguel showed up at his penthouse and crushed both of his hands. You got to believe that Maria is gonna find out that her brother did this to the man at some point and be very upset. But at some point, Miguel got to get over the way he be acting about his sister. And I get it. I have a younger sister also and was very protective of her when she was young. But at some point, you have to realize that it is actually best for your sister to let her live her own life, even start having kids and a family if that's what she wants to do. Miguel don't want to be nobody's uncle. I mean, who he's going to pass the family business to? He don't have any kids of his own. But we do see what type of problems Tommy is going to have when Miguel finds out about him and his sister. We also found out this episode that Miguel and Maria's father's name was Felipe and he was from Mexico. Is there any chance that Felipe Lobos is Maria and Miguel's father? I'm not saying he is, but you got to believe that this was mentioned for a reason. It's probably a better chance that Lobos was their older brother or something like that, maybe even their cousin. Also keep in mind that the girl who got shot, her dad's name was also a man named Felipe from Mexico. And this is definitely one of the new characters we could be introduced to at some point also, possibly coming to the States to avenge his daughter's death. And real quick before I go, if you didn't notice at the end of the show, Tommy does have the Mustang back now. So as Kate has now relapsed and Tommy has the Mustang back, the stage is set for Tommy to return to New York. And there you have it. Leave your thoughts, theories, and predictions in the comments.